Jalen Jacoby.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I am David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
We get to find individuals. What they want.
Do you know what the people want?
What is that?
The people want to see Kevin Durant doing this ridiculous pregame dance, because that's all I care about. I love this so much. Get it? Kevin Durant. Oh, he's the MVP. Just give him the championship.
He getting his nerd on.
I love it.
And Draymond had to hit his second out. Draymond on the side.
I'm doing this before every fight. I'm doing this during every second of the show today.
Here's why you can't do that before every show.
Because I'm tired already.
Get a
sweat. Yeah, my neck kind of hurts too.
Yes, indeed. He's trying to actually make sure every limb in his body is just loose and kind of stretching out.
You think that's functional?
Yeah, he's just trying to keeping it loose. You know what I mean? How much did he drop that game?
I don't know. You know I don't like follow-up questions.
They won by 30. It was.
Let's move on. Jalen, I know you love Rick Carlisle.
I do.
He's your guy.
No question.
You have a great relationship with him.
Yes, indeed.
No matter what he does, you always ride for him.
That's what I do for people I got love for.
Well, I know you love him, but Rick Carlisle didn't love this. Rookie, Jordan Mel off the backboard, dunking. After the game, reportedly Rick Carlisle didn't really want to talk to Steve Kerr, and he was upset about it. Jalen Rose, I know you ride for Rick Carlisle, but he's being sensitive here.
Kevin Durant thought it was a bit excessive. You see him put his hand over his mouth. Steph Curry did not know how to respond. You told me how Carlisle responded. Let me tell you how everybody should feel about it.
Okay.
When we beating you by 30, we're going to clown you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes.
Would he do it in a two-point game? No.
With his hops? Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so.
No, yes. He has more bounce to the ounce. If he gets a breakaway, he's doing that, period. So he wouldn't be in the game, however, in the first quarter at this point, because they have a stacked roster. So I don't personally think he should feel some type of way about it to the point where he's not talking to Steve Kerr about it, because Kerr couldn't control it.
Yeah, he didn't call a play. You know, he's on the side like, oh, okay, yeah, two on the backboard. Like, he's got no control over that.
Here's the great thing about sports. When nepotism isn't usually involved, you can actually stop that if you want to.
Sure.
And there was somebody trailing the play. That guy, if he really didn't like it, guess what he could have? He could have ran and jumped up in there and tried to disrupt the play.
When he's swinging back off the rim, you know, you could do something.
But there's a secondary comment I have for the guy that tries to interrupt the proceedings. You get really dunked on. It looks really nasty. So he made a choice also. Like, oh, he's slowing down. I'm slowing down too. I ain't trying to get up in there.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure if he was upset at Coach Kerr, he probably was upset with the player that was trailing as well.
We had some hold me back moments, Jalen Rose. First, we have LaMarcus Aldridge and Serge Ibaka. Here it is. You know, so there's a little skirmish over rebounds, and then ends up Kyle Lowry gets a little elbow to the head. Ibaka comes after him, and then, oh, you never know, it gets broken up real quick. Everyone gets held back. What do you think about Aldridge and Ibaka in this hold me back moment?
Again, I want to stress, we don't encourage violence in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you don't really see violence in the NBA. You just see that.
But we don't encourage people pretending to fight either. And so when I see some of the trademark hold me back moments, it just shows me the level of discipline sometimes you have to have in the field of combat that we call the NBA. When you're playing in close quarters, you're 6'11", 260 pounds. They're throwing forearms, they're throwing shoulders, they're grappling, and then sometimes it's going to get a little testy.
Yeah.
And cooler heads normally prevail 98% of the time. Unfortunately, sometimes players get a little too angry and it goes overboard. I'm glad it didn't take place in this one.
Well, it didn't really take place in this one either. This time we have James Harden and Rio Chalmers.
Oh, I know James
They
Harden
get mixed up a little
money.
bit, and then Rio starts tripping him, and then Harden pushes him to the floor, and then watch Harden here. He ducks behind the referee here. Watch Harden when it starts getting real. He uses the referee as a lead blocker, and then does this little like hands up thing. And we weren't the only people to notice his response there. Also, watch this. Harden seemed to like
And
it.
here's the distinction. I got love for Trevor Ariza. Every time the dynamics of the Rockets get brought up, I always say that he's the second most important player before they got Chris Paul. Now Eric Gordon's balling. I'm happy to see Eric Gordon balling.
Yeah.
But as a wing that they have, because he's a two-way performer. He can catch and shoot the three, and he guards multiple positions.
Yeah, I'd say he's an overlooked important piece of that roster.
But what I would say is he can be the guy to tease James for one reason. Because if it did go down, he'd help him.
Yes, and Ariza was very close to that skirmish. You got a really good look at it. And then we have this. Even coaches are getting involved in the flopportunity business. So right now, Scott Brooks gets touched by Jokic here. Just touched. And he exaggerates the contact and immediately goes and yells at the referee to point out that it happened. Okay? After the game, Scott Brooks said this. I don't think he did it on purpose, but it happened. I moved on, and the referee had to do what he had to do and move on. Okay, a couple things, Scott. If you don't think he did it on purpose, then why did you run the referee and try to get a call? And the referee didn't have to do what he had to do. You yelled at the referee and got his attention and said, did you see what Nurkic did? Did you see it?
You said the key. Try to get the call.
It's just... Is this a boss move or a soft move from Scott Brooks?
It's a flopportunity that he took advantage of.
You just used it. You just used it. It felt
You
good,
like
didn't
that.
it? It felt
You like-
good, didn't it?
I just wanted to throw you a
It felt good,
lob.
didn't it? It felt good, didn't it?
How about this?
You know what this is?
First off, the Undefeated did a top 50 remix list, and they had some really good players on there. Where was Gary Payton? Seriously.
Chandler, can you keep it down a little bit? I still have a headache from doing that Kevin Durant dance.
They ain't had a glove on there?
Coming up next on Jalen Jacoby, we have some unintentional medicinal
Do you think that list
information.
was cultural? They took off 33% of the white guys.
If I'd have thought I was going to get ejected by letting somebody elbow me in the head 2 times, here's what I would have done. I would have looked left. Where's Dale? Look right. Where's Antonio? Then I would have gave him a 2-piece. One with the right and then one with the left. And then yelled, hold me back.
Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. My head still hurts from doing the Kevin Durant dance.
As it should.
Feels like Markelle Fultz's head has been spinning since he's been in the league. Last night, while the Sixers were playing the Pistons, he shot this jump shot, which looks a little like weird. Today, news has broken that he has had fluid drained from his shoulder. He's been struggling with his shoulder ever since training camp started. Jalen, there's been a lot of different theories about this. Adjustments to his shot and it's actually his shoulder is injured. Are the problems with his shooting mental or physical?
Physical.
Explain.
Because I've seen the mechanics of his jump shot change as well as his free throw shooting since he left college. Mm-hmm. He was more proficient in both areas. This is why he went, where'd he go in the draft?
Number 1.
Exactly. Had he had these issues, you don't think Tatum, you don't think Josh Jackson, somebody else wouldn't have gone number 1?
So what's
Yes, they
happened? You
would've.
think this is it's just strictly an injury? It's not sort of like the pressure of the league or the pressure of being number 1 or playing in the league, getting into his head. He's a young man. You don't think it's any of that? I'm just reading too much into it being a media guy.
I think it's physical. Now, the thing that really helps, and I've said this on this program.
What really helps, Mr. Rose?
What did I tell people that Ben Simmons and MB were going to do when they were out there playing basketball at the same place at the same time for the Sixers?
Tear up the league.
All I know is this is what I'm seeing. I had to watch this against my Detroit Pistons recently, and I was not happy about it at all.
Well, guess what? Joel Embiid put 30 on your Detroit Pistons.
I saw each point.
And had this to say about Andre Drummond after the game. Defensively, he doesn't play any defense. When we started the game, he was being aggressive and he was talking. So in my mind, I was like, you want to do that? I'm going to kick bleep then. So that's what I did. Is it refreshing to hear someone talking badly about opponents as often as Embiid does?
Here's what's refreshing, and I want to say this respectfully. So the league changes over errors, and rightfully so.
Sure.
So there was the era where physical intimidation was a part of the game. Hard fouls, physical plays. A lot of times when the first person would whack you and the second person would knock you on the floor.
Clean you up. Can't call 2 fouls.
And then all of a sudden it was the era of the big man was so dominant that you had to decide if you were going to put him on the line or not, like a Shaquille O'Neal
comes to mind.
Or play the percentages. Tim Duncan as well. He wasn't a great free throw shooter.
Good point.
And so then it became the LeBron era. And a lot of what encompassed in his era as one of the, I say one of the because Kobe Bryant was still playing a lot of his career.
Sure.
Was that a lot of the players were more friends off the floor. Not that the league hasn't always been a fraternity. Look over my shoulder.
Of course. And it's also a function of you've known each other since you were 12. You have the same age. You know, the cream of the crop plays together for a long time. We're supposed to hate somebody from 12 to 22.
But here's the difference, though. They would do this kiss pre-game. But let me tell you 2 things they wouldn't do. They wouldn't leave their current team to go play with the other one. And 2, because they did that kiss, they wanted to show everybody else on their team, I'm going to go at him harder than anybody ever has. And so they would hard foul one another. And what eventually ended up happening now is, as we enter the banana boat era, is, yes, we're homies off the floor, but we're working out in the summer too. We're playing on the same squads as well.
Back to Embiid, do you say it is refreshing?
I like Embiid now as he's turned the page is he's needling Whiteside. He's needling Andre Drummond. And they're not just point guards in the league. He's needling guys that are his age that play his position that he's going to have to play against for a really long time.
And I also think that there is a part of it that is sort of friendly fire. Like, I don't think if Embiid and Whiteside were the same place at the same time, they've had problems with each other. They'd probably give each other a pound and like laugh. But it's refreshing for me to hear somebody right after the game say Andre Drummond doesn't play defense.
LeBron James was able to disable Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, or dismantle the Bulls, the Pacers, the Celtics got older, the Pistons got older. All of his competition to the point where he doesn't have any rivals. And that speaks to his all-time iconic greatness. I bow down and salute the king. However, Joel Embiid, I appreciate the fact that he's ruffling some feathers. And like you said, they might not have a physical beef with one another, but once you make it public and you disrespect me, now Andre Drummond has to come. I didn't know when Philly and Detroit played, but now I know they play on December 2nd.
Yep.
And I hope they play in Detroit, and I better be there.
So, a couple customers were working with Amazon, okay? And what they ordered were 27-gallon plastic storage bins. And the storage bins came in a box, and they went to go pick up that box. They're like, this is heavy. What's going on here? These boxes weigh 93.5 pounds. Some heavy plastic storage boxes.
Sound like a radio station.
Guess what? Those boxes were full of 65 pounds of medicinal.
Oh, they were sending it to the wrong people. They thought I was going to Snoop or Redman. Just went to the wrong address. That's
so
all.
if you were just a regular civilian that ordered some plastic boxes and you got those and they were full of medicinal, would you alert the authorities?
I'd be like, I need to get on the phone with Cypress Hill for somebody that's going to help me use this product and or distribute this product where it doesn't get me in trouble with the authorities or the people that sent it to the and it delivered to the wrong
Here's the
individual.
thing. See, a lot of people be like, "Oh, I would never tell the authorities. You know, I would sell it or I would use it." Here's the thing about those people. I need them to understand. What you don't want to do is have someone knock on your door and say, "Oh, by the way, I believe you have something of mine," and you say,
That's
"Oh,
like
you know
a
what?
movie.
Yeah, exactly." Be like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And be like, "Cool, you got 24 hours to, get it back." I don't want those problems at all.
You have to get on the phone, Google somebody that lives that lifestyle that's way more equipped to handle that sort of shipment than you do. Normally, they could be rappers or entertainers.
You know what I'm doing? I'm calling the police. That's what I'm doing.
A snitch.
Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Jalen Rose, the most impressive thing about you is not the basketball you played in college, your professional career, or even what you're doing now here with the media. The things I'm most impressed with from you is the time and energy and money that you've put into the Detroit community with working with the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. I was honored enough to be invited with the staff there with you. Let's take a look at our visit to the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy.
Welcome to JRLA.
Let's get it. So I see all these college pennants on the wall. Is that inspiration?
Yep, inspiration, motivation. Good day, how are you?
What's the educational philosophy?
Just to try to get the kids to continue to improve every day. And a lot of times you get young people at 9th grade that aren't necessarily reading or doing math at a 9th grade level. So our goal has to be growth.
You always say it's an 8-year high school. What do you mean by that?
Not only are we servicing young people the 4 years during high school, but we also do the exact same thing while they're in college. I'll take you upstairs and you'll see the college success team that continues to track all of the students that have graduated, whether they're in a 4-year school, a community college, a trade, or military.
We give them the knowledge, the exposure to college campuses, as well as what it takes to be successful in order to get in college. So we do that 9 through 11. And then 12th grade specifically, we have a senior seminar class. So in that class, all we do is fill out college applications, scholarship applications, the FAFSA. We help them narrow down their choices.
In addition to that, we're also working on creating partnerships specifically with colleges. We know that our students are going to be successful, and so we're building those pipelines for students to get there.
And our alumni coordinator, she actually makes sure she follows through with them.
So if I graduate from JRLA and I'm a sophomore in college, I will still have a connection to JRLA. There will still be someone calling my phone. There'll still be someone checking up on me.
All the time.
Wow.
A lot of times young people have to learn to communicate. We have greeters, so when you knock on the door, watch what happens.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Shalay.
Shalay, David.
This is Ms. Rugby's math class. We have a test on factoring polynomials tomorrow, so we're playing polynomial bingo. Do you have any questions for me?
What's a polynomial? There's no one walking the hallways. There's no one running around. Like my high school, no matter, even in the middle of a class period, there's people running around. Hello.
Good afternoon.
What's happening here?
This is a college writing class, and we just got done doing a research paper, and now we working on projects to present it, like PowerPoint.
Have you worked on PowerPoint before?
Yeah.
I promise you, I still do PowerPoints to this day. The skills that you will learn in this classroom, you will use later in life.
A lot of times people only see success as a grade point average or a test score. And when you really get a chance to work with young people, give them the life skills, the social skills, the leadership qualities, the discipline in order to be successful.
Our sense of family, our vision here is real, our mission here is real, our values here are real, and you can ask the scholars about it, you can ask the professionals about it, and I believe we'll all be on the same page.
This is a real thing, and it's one thing to know that you have a school and to hear about it, but when you're here and you see the children, and you see the classrooms, and you're in the building, it's inspiring to me, Jalen. It really is.
Our donor wall.
This is what makes Jalen Rose Leadership Academy
This
happen.
is what makes JRLA happen. Without these individuals donating their time, their energy, their money, none of the things you see actually take place, including
Right there. I might not have a statue outside of an NBA arena. I might not have my jersey in the rafters, but that's never coming down. We're going to come back in a few years. You're going to have to make the donor wall bigger.
yes.
We're going to have to expand it out to here. I'm going to donate to make the donor wall bigger.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you showing me around.
Hold on.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
This has really touched me.
Thank you.
Well, that means a lot. I truly appreciate the support, and watching that piece it actually sparked a thought for me that I'm going to pursue. And hopefully there's something we can look back at this day and be like, wow, this is where that came from.
What's that?
So I just got some data about JRLA rankings in the city of Detroit.
Okay.
We're 4th in college enrollment within 12 months of graduation. That's 80%. We're 3rd in college enrollment within 6 months of graduation. That's 71%. 7th in 4-year high school graduation rate. That's 94%. We're 2nd for percentage of students economically with disadvantages.
Oh.
85%. And we're number 1 for students with disabilities. 13.6%. And throughout the sporting landscape, and thank you to our donors, our founding team, my co-founder, Michael Carter, but more importantly, the staff, the parents, and the students for making us go. We have a lot of work to do. I sparked the thought, in sports right now, you see players kneeling during the anthem, and/or finding a way to use that opportunity to show allegiance via protest, which is peaceful, whether it's locking arms, fist in the air. It made me think of an idea called how protests become progress.
Okay.
And there are multiple owners from the state of Michigan in professional sports. Tom Gores, my good friend of mine of the Detroit Pistons, Steve Ballmer, the Clippers, Stephen Ross of the University of Michigan, Dick and Bessie DeVos. I could start with them, along with local teams, Red Wings, Lions, and see if we can all pull in the same direction and influence a tuition-free public charter high school right there in the city of Detroit that has a track record since 2011.
JRLADetroit.com. We'll be back tomorrow.